Hello and welcome to the Class Spotlight series. I'm your host, Rebecca Hammond, and today joining me is our expert in revenue cycle, Research Director Mac Boyder. Thanks for joining me today, Mac. We're so excited to have you.
You bet, Rebecca. Happy to be here.
And today we're going to be talking about Alpha 2 and really taking a closer look at this product and service that they're offering. You know, historically at Class, we rate software vendors and service firms. Talk to me a little bit about Alpha 2 and where they fit.
You bet. So again, provider organizations typically turn to someone to help them with claim scrubbing and looking at how they can reduce denials and issues like that, avoiding churn. Alpha 2 is one of those companies that provides that functionality, and they kind of straddle the line between software and services, to your point, providing with their ClaimStaker software platform, but then also supplementing that with some service-related features. So it's kind of in between, which is why we were excited to do this Spotlight report to kind of highlight that and see what's real and what's not.
Yeah, so as we went through this process with this report to really validate the service and outcomes that they're really driving for their customers, what were some of the features that stood out in particular to customers that really came to the top?
Yeah, so again, primarily we asked specifically about these providers, and these, again, I want to stress, these are the clients of Alpha 2 that are current clients. And what they shared with us was that denial prevention was like really top of mind, how we can avoid that churn, avoid those issues, make sure that we have the appropriate staffing levels to deal with that and not having redundancy in that, making sure how we look at that. They also wanted to look at things like the amount of overall volume that they're able to process, like can they keep up with a large IDN and a large network with both inpatient and outpatient functionality, because oftentimes those EHRs may not communicate very well. And so this was something that was really top of mind for those providers, and we were able to validate that yes, they actually do provide better denial prevention. They actually, of the people we spoke with, 8 of them actually reported that there were benefits beyond just the financial. It was actually about staffing and redundancies there. They were able to actually kind of reallocate people and do things like that. So there were some other outcomes that we didn't anticipate, but was really interesting to see.
That's so fascinating. So when it comes to the type of customer that is going to most benefit from Alpha 2, what do those customers look like?
You know, that's a great question, and the beautiful part here is what we were able to validate is that they're scalable, both within large organizations and, with inpatient and outpatient, like I mentioned, functionality and features, but then also way down to mid-level IDNs and even single facilities and ambulatory facilities as well. So we spoke with a pretty wide gamut of clients, current clients, and we found that they were able to do all of those things. It worked really well.
All right, so as customers consider Alpha 2 as an option, what are some of the key opportunities as they are growing and scaling, and how they can really improve to that next level for their customers?
Well, there were a few challenges that we uncovered. One of those was around the opportunity for executive engagement to be there. They definitely wanted a little bit more of that, which I think was actually somewhat a positive, meaning the providers we spoke to saw value in that engagement with the executive leadership, and they wanted more of it. So that was one thing that kind of came up. Another area for opportunity for Alpha 2 was to look at how do they handle edits. So once the scrubbing is done and once they actually look at the claim, are there opportunities to make modifications on the fly or within the workflow? That's something that Alpha 2 is working on from what we understand. But again, we only had 1 or 2 people that mentioned anything about that. And it wasn't a major issue, it was more just, this is something we'd like to see.
Yeah, and it's really incredible how impactful that relationship is to driving outcomes for customers and how essential they rely on those quality touch points with their service firms.
Yeah.
So now let's think about what were really kind of some of the standout strengths that their customers talked about that really was an anchor for their customers.
Yeah, surprisingly to me, it was really less about the technology. And I think we at Class have seen that over time, where technology is not really a super driver of satisfaction, but it's more of an ancillary to satisfaction, as long as we're supporting that with, to your point, that relationship and that ability to train and engage and so on. But it came out really strongly that the software was very robust. It provided what people needed, and they got really high marks for a lot of that. So the technology was very strong. The service was pretty strong. They have a lot of areas for opportunity, for growth and scalability. But again, the people we spoke to were overwhelmingly positive.
Thank you, Max, so much for joining us today to talk to us about Alpha 2. And for those of you that are interested in reading this report or others, you can find those at classresearch.com. If there is a vendor or emerging technology that you think we should be taking a closer look at, feel free to email us at etech@classresearch.com. Thanks so much.